Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. Our top story, confidence in China's economy down further. Foreign direct investment into China plunging to a 30-year low.
There in China are begging America, please come back. The rest of the world, please come back.
Chinese Coast Guards were caught again entering Taiwan-controlled waters, but were kicked out by Taiwanese officers. 18 Republican lawmakers urging President Joe Biden to quit TikTok, an app banned from U.S. government devices due to national security concerns. Biden's campaign joined the Chinese-owned platform to reach young Americans. U.S. lawmakers are pushing a new bill to tackle China's threats in the biotech sector, with 4 Chinese companies coming under the radar for potential sanctions. Foreign investors' confidence in China's economy seemed to get weaker last year as a lot less money was flowing into China. New numbers reveal foreign direct investment in the country has dropped to a 30-year low. According to the Chinese State Administration of Foreign Exchange, the country's direct foreign investment, or FDI, has fallen more than 80% last year compared to 2022. It totaled just $33 billion last year. Beijing has been struggling to reignite the country's economy after the pandemic. The country is dealing with a property crisis, weak domestic demand, and low investor confidence. Plus, foreign companies have been scaling down their operations in China after the Chinese regime put a focus on national security and cracked down on spying. Companies are concerned over how this policy and others will be enforced. Uncertainty is driving more foreign companies to consider diversifying their supply chains or pulling out of China completely. With a high unemployment rate, China's economy could suffer in the medium and long term. Foreign direct investment means buying substantial stakes in a foreign company or acquiring it to expand operations. This type of investment is important because it establishes long-lasting connections between economies. Kevin Hogan with NTD Good Morning spoke to Kevin Freeman, the producer and host of Economic War Room and the author of Pirate Money, about the risks in the Chinese market.
China is especially vulnerable because they depend on so much American capital and really Western capital. And the investors there in China are begging America, please come back. The rest of the world, please come back.
So why have they left?
Well, they've lost confidence in the Chinese governance. Literally, they're seeing a nation that is flaunting international rules, trying to use the Belt and Road Initiative to advance their interests. This is not an economic-based regime. They used to say it was capitalism with Chinese characteristics. What in fact it was a Marxist plan to control the world.
So what does the regime's efforts here to bolster the stock market all mean for Americans?
Well, if you're invested in China, then you're hoping that you can get a little higher prices before you have to get out. But bottom line is that American investors in China cannot expect that this is a brand new way of investing, as they did 5-10 years ago. They said, oh, China is perfect in investing because it's a managed economy. No, capitalism has its rules, and free markets have both their ups and their downs.
So what's China's economy like right now, Kevin?
China's economy is very weak. It's been built on a house of cards. It's been built on abuses of the system. It's been built on slave labor in some cases. It's been built on manipulation of foreign investors.
Yeah, we've seen those allegations against companies like Temu selling these clothes for just like a few dollars, even pennies at times. And then also the collapse of Evergrande, the real estate developer there as well. So if China's economy does take a downturn, what does that mean for the United States and for the world?
Well, it's normal to take downturns. China doesn't want to see them. The Chinese investors don't want to see them. So it's actually a threat to the regime. If the stock market continues to go down and people don't see any opportunity to advance their lives, it's beware the wounded dragon. What if China becomes belligerent and takes military actions in order to take away attention from their falling stock market? That's a very dangerous position.
That is a really serious risk that you mentioned there. So what's China's real estate market like right now, and how does that affect its stock market?
China's real estate market was massively overblown. It was a massive bubble. We've seen the bubble bursting, and there's more pain to be endured in the real estate market from my perspective.
Right, and why is that?
Well, because if you overprice things, eventually what goes up must come down. There were ghost cities, a lot of real estate activity that was non-economic. It was for cultural reasons or political reasons. The massive move of people into cities. The net result is they monkeyed with their market so much it's not a natural result. So the property market is overexpanded, and as a result, when the bubble bursts, everybody gets hurt.
Yeah, and analysts like even James Gorey have told me that the CCP is not out to foster economic growth. They're out for power, and that's why they would tell companies like Evergrande, just keep developing, even if the demand's not there, and that led to all these problems. Kevin Freeman, producer and host of Economic War Room, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
A warning from the FBI chief about China's cyber attacks on U.S. infrastructure over the weekend. This is the second warning he's given in a span of a few days. At the security conference in Munich, intelligence chiefs of different countries focused on the war in Ukraine and the Middle East. But the director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, urged them not to let China escape their focus. Wray said the U.S. is laser focused on China's efforts to plant malicious software into U.S. computer networks and infrastructure, calling it a real threat. He added that the Chinese Communist Party's offensive against U.S. infrastructure is at a scale greater than we'd seen before. Last year, a Chinese hacking network was revealed to be lying dormant in American infrastructure. It could be woken up any time to do a great harm to the American people. Wray said this is only the tip of the iceberg. A group of Republican lawmakers want President Biden to deactivate his campaign's TikTok account. They said in a letter that Biden was ignoring TikTok's well-established national security risks. Biden's campaign joined the short video app earlier this month. The campaign's initial video was seen 9.6 million times, and it has about 170,000 followers. Efforts in Congress to ban TikTok or create new tools to restrict it have stalled. Last month, TikTok told Congress that 170 million Americans now use the app, up from 150 million a year earlier. The White House noted last week that there is still a ban on the use of TikTok on government devices. The Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States demanded last year that TikTok's Chinese owners sell their shares or face the prospect of an app ban, but the administration has taken no action on this. Over in Europe, the European Union is investigating TikTok. They suspect TikTok is breaching transparency agreements and not upholding obligations to protect minors. Key concerns include addictive design and the algorithm funneling viewers to more extreme content. Next, moving to Capitol Hill, lawmakers are pushing a new bill in Congress to combat China's threats to the U.S. biotech sector. The bill lists a group of foreign adversary biotech companies of concern, with 4 Chinese companies on the list. If passed, it could bar them from doing business with American biotech companies funded by the federal government. Biotech is a core interest for both the U.S. and China, covering a wide range of categories from medical treatment to genetic engineering in agriculture and new materials. Critics of the bill argue that it could hinder the U.S. drug supply chain, but many maintain that it is crucial for protecting U.S. interests. The National Security Commission on Emerging Biotechnology, a Senate group reviewing the industry, said the bill can ensure that China won't have access to American citizens' most confidential data, including medical history, in the competition between the two countries. The Chinese embassy quickly condemned the bill, saying the Chinese firms are discriminated by the U.S. with ideological bias. Taiwan is condemning China for boarding a Taiwanese tourist boat. Here's what a Taiwanese official said on Tuesday.
It hurt the feelings of our people, created panic among the people, and it was not in the interest of the people on both sides of the Taiwan Strait.
Tensions are rising around Kinmen Island, which lies a short distance off China's coast but is controlled by Taiwan. Chinese Coast Guard members boarded a Taiwanese tourist boat near Kinmen Monday and spent half an hour checking the ship's route plan, certificate, and crew licenses.
They got on our boat and delayed us for half an hour.
The Chinese Communist Party said over the weekend its Coast Guard would patrol Kinmen. That's after 2 Chinese nationals died when their speedboat capsized last week. They ventured too close to the island and were chased by Taiwan's Coast Guard. Taiwan's defense minister says they won't respond with military action. Also on Tuesday, the Taiwanese Coast Guard drove away a Chinese Coast Guard boat that had entered Taiwan-controlled waters near the island of Kinmen. According to the Taiwanese authorities, there was no military engagement. The Chinese boat finally left after an hour after Taiwan's patrols urged it via radio and broadcast. Taiwan says it will continue to monitor the real-time situation around the waters, ensuring the harmony and safety in the region. That's all for today's China in Focus on YouTube. We're now sharing a shortened version of our program here after being demonetized for 3 years. If you'd like to support us, consider donating. Find us at donorbox.org/China-in-focus or subscribe to our partner platform Epic TV, where you can watch our full episodes. Here's what to look out for in our second half. An over $30 billion defense boost for Australia. Amid heightened China tensions, Canberra aiming to build its largest navy since World War II. An Australian writer jailed in China giving up on appealing his suspended death sentence, what his family says about the reason. And from Australia up into the Pacific Ocean, a tug of war is going on. The Chinese Communist Party is knocking at the door of the island nations, while the U.S. is slow at working with them. General Robert Spalding breaks it down. More on that after the break here on China in Focus. Thanks for watching China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. See you tomorrow.